Good afternoon, Knicks Nation. Today is Sunday, the third day of November 2024. I started a live stream today, but it was cut off. And the reason it was cut off is because I didn't know you're not supposed to show firearms on the live stream. You can show them in a video, but you can't show them in a live stream. And so when I pulled out a couple of my firearms on the live stream, YouTube didn't take too kindly to that. So they shut down the video immediately, and that was the end of that. So I live and learn. Sorry, YouTube, live and learn. So that was so you could show firearms as long as they're legal in a regular video. You cannot show them on a live stream. So mine was a live stream. Anyway, talk about the Knicks. That's the purpose here. So with respect to the Knicks, they are 2-1 this week. Cat has been let out the bag. And GATO GRANDE is really balling. And he has become the focal point of the offense. Even on Friday, when they played Detroit, and I saw the replay of that game last night. When they played Detroit and Brunson, he was going off. He had 22 shots. He was 14 of 22. He ended up with 36 points. He actually had 26 by the half. He had 22 shots, and GATO GRANDE still had 18 shots. And so that was very well distributed. And Cat had what? He had 3 threes. Brunson had 6 threes. So Brunson was going off. But by making Cat a focal point of the offense, see, I think 18 should be something that he averages, 15 to 18 shots. So by making him a focal point of the offense, it actually opens up stuff for Brunson. Now, Brunson was unreal last night. Period. He was, regardless of who was on the court with him, he was killing it last night. But having Cat out there, and Cat did not necessarily, he was 8 of 18, so he did shoot the ball okay, and he was 3 of 6 from 3. He had 11 boards. He's averaging 11 boards. He's actually averaging 22 and 11 right now. I think that's going to continue. And the thing is, last night, the Knicks ended up with 6 players in double figures. And they basically have 6 of the 8 players that Tibbs is using in the rotation are averaging double figures. So you have the starting 5 plus Deuce. They're averaging double figures. And I think that's going to continue. Okay. And so offensively, I've never really been concerned with the Knicks offensively. That was never a concern of mine. Eventually they were going to figure it out. And they still, the scary thing is, even offensively, they're going to get better. That's the scary thing. They're going to get better. They're a work in progress. Defensively, they're obviously a work in progress. They held Detroit to 98 points. They actually held Miami to 107. And both of those teams coming into the fourth quarter were well below 80 points. Like, they were really good. Then the Knicks, slacked off a little bit or played the rookies. And that's why the other team scored more points. But defense has been good. But once Precious comes back, and Precious was on the bench he's on this road trip. Now, generally, I was saying before I was cut off, generally speaking, when a player is rehabbing, an injured player is rehabbing, they do not travel with the team on a road trip. They do not travel on a road trip. But when you see an injured player on an extended road trip, he's close to returning. Okay, so Precious is on this road trip. It's a 4-game road trip. They went to Miami, they went to Detroit, they're going to Houston for tomorrow's game, and Precious is with them. So I expect, I've been saying, I expect Precious and Shamet to be back by Thanksgiving. But I think Precious is going to be back before that. Shamet, the reason you won't see him is because he was drafted by the Westchester Knicks. Okay, so he's not even on a 2-way deal. He's on the Westchester Knicks. That just helps them control him a little bit while maintaining what they need for their financials. So eventually, Porty's going to be converted from a two-way to a regular deal, and they're going to sign this Matt Ryan to a two-way deal, and then they're going to bring up Shamet, who they will then have 14 players. Shamet will get a regular vet min contract, and so we're just waiting for his shoulder to get better, and I'm pretty confident the way he's been working, unless he has some setback, he should be back by Thanksgiving. So with that, when you start adding Shamet, Deuce, Precious to Sims, okay, add all that, they're going to be dynamic. Going to be really, really good. Right now, Tibbs is playing an 8-man rotation, and one game, I think it was the game against Miami, he actually played a 7-man rotation, if I'm not mistaken. He played a 7-man rotation, and that because the game against Miami, Sims played 9 minutes, so he didn't quite get rotation minutes against Miami. And let me make sure I'm telling y'all the truth, but with that game where GATO GRANDE had 44, he dropped 44 points. I don't think, let me see here. Yep, he played Payne 12 minutes, McBride 25 minutes in the Miami game, and Sims played 9. So really, he went with a 7-man rotation against Miami. I think part of that was the fact that Cat was just playing out of his mind and shooting out of his mind. 44 points, 13 boards. He was just going off. So there was no need. He wanted to get that 5-man unit running together, and he definitely did. So he's going. My point though is that he's not afraid to play a 7-man rotation or an 8-man rotation right now until he gets his full troops back. And now the troops are starting to come back. You're going to get Precious back. You may even get Precious back by the end of this road trip. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if he was back, because this past Friday was exactly 2 weeks, and they said 2 to 4 weeks they would really reevaluate him. So they obviously might have reevaluated him this past week and maybe have him wait a little bit more, make sure he's going to be back on the court. Tibbs indicated that he's doing some work, so I think he might be back by the end of this road trip. Matter of fact, if you look at the schedule, the Knicks schedule. Let me pull it up here. If you look at the Knicks schedule, they have Houston and Atlanta. Those are the last 2 games of the road trip. And then they come home this coming Friday against Milwaukee. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Precious at that home game. I would not be surprised. That would be 3 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised. So he's coming back short. So you're getting your troops back. And then if you can get Shamet back by Thanksgiving, you got a full 9-man rotation. Now, at that point, we'll be dealing with waiting on Mitch Rob, which is January, be here before you know it. And once Mitch Rob comes back, then they have their complete team, and they're really, there's going to be something else at that point. So right now, the Knicks can finish no worse than 2-2 on this road trip. They just won the first 2 games of the road trip, as you saw, in Miami and in Detroit. They got Houston tomorrow. That is no cakewalk. Houston is good, man. If Houston was in the East, they'd be higher. Right now, it's still early, but I think Houston is a playoff team. They're really good. Jabari Smith is matured. They still got the veterans, Dylan and Fred VanVleet. And then Alperen Sengun is turning into a monster. So they got a nice team. And then just last night, now they lost to San Antonio last night, but Tari Eason and Amen Thompson came off the bench and they dropped 45 between the 2 of them. So they're going to be good. So Houston is no joke. It ain't going to be like playing the Pistons. This is going to be a tougher game. Another test for the Knicks, early season test with an 8-man rotation or even a 7-man. And Sengun is very, very good. Sengun, to me, is a future all-star. He really is. He modeled his game. His hero is the Joker, and his game is modeled after the Joker. And he plays ball very well. I didn't think he was going to be that good coming out of Turkey, but he is. And so he is that guy, and he's not going to be easy to defend. But this is going to be a good test to see how the Knicks do it, how Cat handles him. And I don't think he could guard Cat. That's the thing. See, I don't think he can guard Cat. Cat could either shoot over him, and he's 6'11", but Cat could shoot over him or take him off the dribble. And then you still got Brunson. But let me give you all a disclaimer. Fred VanVleet plays Brunson pretty tough. Fred VanVleet ain't no joke on defense. He could play some defense even though he's small in stature. So this is not going to be easy. But then they're going to have Dylan Brooks either guard OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges. And then there's the wild card in Hart. And then they got a bench. They got Tari Eason and Amen Thompson coming off the bench. So this is not going to be easy. This is a good team they're coming in used to play. It's going to be a good test to see how the Knicks, you know, how they show up here early, not fully manned, not fully acclimated yet, but still balling. And this is the scary thing about our team. They're not fully acclimated yet. Let them get, I keep saying Thanksgiving, but let them get to Thanksgiving and roll into December. You'll start to see more of them meshing, even though they're killing right now. And then when they get Precious back, you're going to see the boards and you're going to see the defense pick up a notch, especially in the second year with MobbDeep, led by Deuce McBride. So we in good shape, Knicks. Y'all should really be enjoying this team right now because we have not had a team this deep, this solid since the last championship. Really. Even with the Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, and them, they wasn't like this. They wasn't. They was more roughnecks. And then with Camby and Spree and them, they was good now. They was good. Very tough on defense, offensively tough, you know, talented team. This team is better, in my view. This team is better. Head man from top to bottom, this team is better. And so, and still going to get better. So we're going to see. But listen, sorry about the interruption on the, sorry about that. I shouldn't have pulled out the GATs. But I didn't know. I had pulled them out the other day. They didn't have no problem. But they have no problem when you pull them out in their legal guns and you put them out in the video. But if you pull it on a live stream, I guess because they can't tell if somebody 18, under 18 might come in. And that's why the problem is. So I messed up. My bad, Knicks Nation. We'll get that straight. Y'all be safe, though. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Giants playing Commanders today. Let me see if I can catch that at some point. And I am going to try to catch Detroit is actually playing today against the Nets, and I'm pulling for the Pistons in that one at 3:30. Yeah. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Shalom.